Hi there, welcome to East Bay Real Estate TV. I'm Lisa Doyle, and today we have one of my favorite types of segments. We created, of course, our web show to educate our clients, bring information to you that's helpful, and support and encourage and introduce to you local businesses. We want to help businesses to prosper and thrive, which of course helps the community and helps you because you have great people you can turn to. So today we have a photography studio that I want to introduce to you. It's called Lynds Photography, and we're here in beautiful Lafayette, right off the freeway, easy commute as far as getting here. And he's a wonderful photographer, so I'm going to take you inside and introduce you to Keith Lynds. So here we are inside Lynds Photography, and I'm here with the owner, Keith Lynds. And what I would love to ask Keith is a few questions about your business. And, obviously it's a photography studio.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell our viewers what your specialties are?
Okay.
What your
Well, our specialties are mainly working with people. It's a little different than a commercial kind of aspect, and more specifically, events a lot of times, like weddings, and also like to do anniversaries, bar and bat mitzvahs, that sort of thing. So anything that has to do with an event. And it's rather unique because with an event, there's more of a planning that goes with that too. It's not just showing up and shooting. You kind of plan, you brainstorm ideas, you get creative, and the more that I talk it over with clients, the more exciting it gets because we think of all the possibilities, and they kind of like an onion, you start unlayering all these different aspects and that they never even thought about.
Yeah, because obviously photography, for those of us that love great pictures but don't have a lot of knowledge, it's about capturing the memory. We were just chatting about that. It's about capturing that special moment in a candid way. So, I love what you do. It's a very, it's a very artistic, very, very skilled.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And Keith does beautiful pictures. We were just looking through their, numerous types of styles of photographs. So why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you show us a couple of your favorites?
Oh, okay.
Some maybe recent pictures that you've taken or certain
let's
shots
see.
that you love.
Well, there was the one over there that was the little girl.
Do you mind if I pick it up?
No, that's fine.
Awesome.
There's
So yeah, I love this. Kids, see, for me, having children in a community that tends to cater towards the family, I would think that the kids are a big part of your business.
That's right. So this was at a wedding, and I just liked how these pictures related to each other. Just one picture by itself might not be the same, but sometimes in a collage, what I especially liked, I think if something makes me laugh or is a special moment, that's a special photo I want to think about. And I just loved how the wind had kind of caught her little veil there, and it kind of poked it up there, and she was totally unaware and in her own little world.
Yeah,
so I love that.
Beautiful, just a beautiful moment. I'm sure that the bride and groom love this, and I'm sure her parents did too. So
that's right.
And you know what else I really love, Keith? Why don't you show us this picture up here of the bride and groom, and maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Well, everything has a story, and sometimes in a wedding, people don't want to take too much time to be away from their guests, but we had a moment when the sun was really nice. It was just going down. As you can see, the headlights are on. It was near the Bay Bridge at a place called Terra Gallery, and it was kind of a big art gallery. And I just asked the couple, could we go outside for just a little bit? And I kind of thought, let's do something where they're in the crosswalk. Now Steve, just as a little side note, had done a little bit of retouching on this because I felt there was a little distraction, and the distraction there was that in the upper part here there's a red light.
Right.
Because we did it when the cars were stopped at the light, so he just got rid of that red light, and that's a simple retouching, but that's something we're very familiar with.
Yeah, very nice. I love that. I love unique and different shots. Untraditional is really fun.
That's right.
Beautiful.
So sometimes, or like this one here, here's another one I like. It's done in a sepia tone, kind of an old-fashioned look.
Like an antique kind of.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they were originally color, but just that type of relationship of different angles and close-ups, you can tell that there's a lot of love and fun going on.
Yeah.
So part of what happens is trying to be a complement to that, so that we can kind of help create people feeling at ease and feeling excited about this, that sort of thing.
What would you say, Keith, to the family? And again, I know a lot of people right now are very conscious about cost.
Oh, absolutely.
We were talking about weddings. What would you say to someone who thinks, you know, hey, I've got a good friend who's got a real good camera,
That's right.
and I'm having a beautiful wedding, and I want to have my friend, what would you say to them?
Well,
about advice like that?
I am understanding, because I'm also kind of a frugal person. I always look for, you know, alternatives and research and things like that. So we're on the same page there. I have made a big effort over all the years, even when my father was had this business. We always made a big effort to make it a very good value. In fact, sometimes people might think, on one end, they might think, well, you know, why isn't it more expensive, and kind of equating higher cost with maybe better quality, but we've always wanted to be a good value.
I've always thought that too, looking at your price list. You know, you do very, very good work, beautiful photographs, and yet very reasonable prices.
Oh, thank you.
So
it's rare that I have anybody complain about the pricing, but nowadays people might be thinking more of having a friend, or they know somebody with a nice camera. So I always tell people, whatever your budget is, to be very picky about what you're going to get. Educate yourself a little bit, know about lighting, don't take things for granted, and I'm always happy to point things out without people feeling on the spot or anything like that.
Well, I think if someone tries to do an amazing event, you know, once in a lifetime, we always hope, once in a lifetime opportunity for a wedding, that your photographs will be something that you'll cherish. And having a friend who doesn't necessarily know about the skills of photography, you know, you might be disappointed.
Well, one more aspect about an event too is many people, whether it's a friend or even a professional, will just give you the digital files, and that's pretty popular. We do that.
I've seen that.
Most of the time, in fact, people get that. But I always want people to consider us to design a book for them. We can look at a couple of those, because Steve does the designs and I've done the designs, but the book adds a whole different dimension, because even though people can take their digital files and get these online, these are much nicer quality. They're made through our professional lab that's very highly renowned. They have a very good reputation. So the books are something that the couple doesn't have to worry about designing, because we design it, they approve it, and once it's 100% perfect, we order the book.
Nice. Well, I know Lynds Photography is a long-time family business.
That's right.
How long have you been in business?
Well, my father started in 1945.
Wow.
So a long time ago, and most of the contacts were people that my father knew, and referrals and repeat clients, and so it's been kind of going on that way for many years.
Very nice. Well, you know, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
If you know of anyone who needs a great photographer, you know, please forward this video. I know Keith would do a wonderful job to help them, and of course we want to help him and introduce you to his business as well. So tell them where they can find you, your website and your phone number. Well, the website, maybe it'll be on the print here associated with this video, but it's lyndsPhoto.com, LYNDSPHOTO, and there's lots of fun things to see. There's different galleries that gives an idea of some of the rates. If you want more specifics, I suggest calling or emailing, and then I might ask some questions and could kind of direct you in that whatever way you need to go. Perfect. And we're going to, after our discussion, we're going to put on the tape some of your photographs as well.
Oh, okay,
we'll scroll some beautiful photographs so they can get an idea what your work looks like. You're welcome.
Good.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.